What up, YouTube? It's your boy Banks, and we back in the building, you feel me? It's True Talks, cause True Talks, alright? Let's get straight right into it. So you already know, man, the other night was definitely one of those, those back and forth type of games when it comes to the Washington Wizards and the Toronto Raptors. This was obviously an important game because Washington Wizards are they hold the 10th spot right now in terms of the play-in, right? And if the Raptors want to get to the play-in, well, they got to start playing, and they had to win this game to kind of make up some ground. Now, I think it will be a miracle if the Raptors get into the playing game, because even after this loss, they are down what, 4 games? They're 4 games back, from that 10th seed. And how many games have the Raptors played? They've played, what is that, 70 games? They've played 67 games. So the fact that they played 67 games and they need, there's only 5 games left for the Raptors. You can't make that 4-game ground. That means you have to win all 5, and then the Washington has to lose all whatever they have left, right? Majority, or like only win 1. So, that's they're not fully out, like they're not eliminated in terms of the standings, but they're basically done. They're basically not going to make it, but this was a great individual game for Pascal. Obviously Trent came back in the lineup. He shot well too as well. And it just was, it was a great game for them, for those guys individually. Not Van Vliet, but he was trying. But at the end of the day, it was a great game for those guys, Trent and Pascal. They're basically the main scorers. And then when you look from Washington, this was obviously Westbrook's doing what he does. He didn't shoot the greatest, but the fact that he's stuffing the stat sheet like that, then you already know what Beal does. They're trying to get into their groove to make some noise come to play in tournament, right? To try and make it to at least the 8th, or to make it to at least the 8th seed, right? So, this is obviously, a testament to just the Wizards finally, getting groove and going, getting a stride going, especially since they've struggled at the beginning of the season, COVID injuries, etc. So, let's go into that context, because I give it that context. Let's go straight right into it, boy. I was gonna go do an actual breakdown and all of that, but obviously, I'm doing a lot of videos today, so I just went with the format that I've been doing. I'm not doing a breakdown, but we're gonna still talk about the context and just talk about everything in general, what happened in that game. Now, when you look at, let's just dive into, obviously this is the elephant in the room, Pascal, right? Pascal, they're saying he's 45 and this and that he's had. There hasn't been someone since I forgot who they said, but there hasn't been someone since who was it, Vince, and I forgot who they said. I forgot who they said, but there hasn't been. He's in history basically with individual performances, right? With this individual performance, he's in history, right? There hasn't been someone since those type of guys. I don't know. Is it Vince Bosch? I forgot who it was, but that has had 45 and plus. And I think Kawhi too. One of the Raptor greats, right? Anyway, so Pascal, the reason why I don't put this game, even though this game statistically is amongst those guys, right? You already know, eye test wise, it's not, because Pascal, you already know, is just abusing the paint. Now this game, I like how he did take advantage of the mismatch. And this is what my problem is always that I've always said with Pascal. I say it again, day in and day out, right? That when he has a weakness, or when he has an advantage, not a weakness, when he has an advantage, a weaker defender on him, he's going to take advantage of them and be aggressive and, just start killing. And his percentages are normally high, right? And so it's not about the ability in terms of, I go further. People think, not people, but in general, it's obviously, like I said, he doesn't have ability. But what cancels that, and, kind of like the devil's advocate of that, is when the fact that he's able to even show any type of ability in moments means that it's actually there. Doesn't mean it's potent enough to do it at a high efficiency rate and do it on an everyday basis, but it's there. The fact that you could do it once means that you're capable, right? You're capable of doing it. Now, whether you do it consistently, whether you do it, on an everyday basis and actually develop it to where now it's a norm, that's dependent on the mental game. That's why I always say basketball's, mental in terms of just it's skill and mental, 80%, 90% mental, right? So the fact that Pascal doesn't apply it always, doesn't apply it in tough situations, doesn't apply it as, this is who I am, this is me, that's where you kind of see the lack of the ability. That's where you see the lack of, in moments, and, that's why he's not successful. That's why he's inconsistent. It's just mainly the mental aspect of the game. So, like, again, he had Bertans on him majority of this game. Bertans is, he's a defender who is tall, so he has length, but he's not an actual elite defender. He's kind of just a mediocre, basic defender. So even though he has length, he doesn't have the foot speed at that length that like someone like a Bam, someone like a Giannis, someone like an AD, someone of that type of caliber, Mo Harkless, the list goes on, right? Someone of those type of calibers that they have, right? He's not. Ben Simmons is another one, right? He's not of that ilk, right? So he's kind of just, he has length, but he doesn't have the defender aspect. And, it's not a combination of length and defender, right? So when I say defender with length, every time I tell someone that, people just think that it's someone who's tall. No. It's not someone who's tall just by itself. You have to have the foot speed. You have to be an athletic defender, and you have length. So that's why it's defender with length. Like I mentioned, the guys who, are comparable of that type of term. And, Bertans isn't one of those. Most defenders who just have length, period, they're normally lacking in foot speed. So Pascal has an advantage, right? This is someone like I was saying, Mario Hezonja, right? You have someone like Bertans that you see now. There's so many other bigs that are, fours. Like we have Bogdan Bogdanovic, 6'7", in Utah. Like, they have some type of length, but they're not athletic, so he could kill them. He has an advantage. Or he has someone who has foot speed, but they're too small. Someone like a Jay Crowder, right? So, something like that where he could just use his length to an advantage. He has an advantage in some type of fashion that's going to benefit Pascal, and you're normally going to see him be aggressive off the gate, and it's going to translate, right? So when you look at it from that perspective, I don't put a lot of stock into the fact that he got 44 because, again, look who's guarding him majority of the game. But I do put stock into the fact that he was being aggressive, and he was at least getting his guaranteed buckets, because a lot of the times when he has guaranteed buckets, it's not even guaranteed. He be missing them, right? So the fact that he was hitting guaranteed buckets and he was punishing Bertans, that was something that was great to see. But then, and sometimes he did a step back on him, and he felt comfortable enough to apply some type of ability at times. But, again, it's not enough to be like, oh my God, Pascal's here, he's resurgence, he's back, or whoever. Like, I don't even think he ever left. This is who he always was in my eyes, right? Well, not my eyes, the real eyes, but, the trained eye. But at the end of the day, Raptors fans, they frustrate me because they take things always further than what it actually is, right? They're taking this 44, they're taking this performance by Pascal way further than what it actually is from, in terms of just assessing it at its face value, right? You have to just understand the context of his 44, and, it's not something it's not really impressive when you actually just look. I'm just being honest. It's not really impressive given the fact that you're just killing all paint, and you have, a mismatch. Like, you're supposed to do that. Kudos to you. I mean, yeah, but he's supposed to do that. You can like that, but he's supposed to do that. What are we going to see with defenders with length on him when he doesn't have a mismatch, when he has, tough defense on him? What are you going to do? That's what I kind of look at, and that's what I highlight. And, that's how you assess someone's actual growth in terms of their ability, their mindset, and just the whole package of their whole, as a player, right? Skill set wise, everything. But, again, Raptors fan base is just, it's just unfortunate that the Raptors fan base is one of the most low IQ fan bases. I'm sorry. I know a lot of y'all feel, oh my God, he's getting at us or whatever. You just have to just sit back and have some self-reflection because, it's the same thing they do with Lowry. They put Lowry on Chris Paul, Jimmy Butler type of status. They do all these things all the time, but at the end of the day, it's what good looks like, but not what elite looks like. And they try and make it seem like these guys are elite in just the general aspect and just of the whole league in general. And it's not. It's overboosted. Raptors fan base always do this time and time again. But again, he did miss 3 free throws, which I did not like, But again, him being like in general, when you look at his stats, like again, if you just stat watch, you're gonna see that, oh my God, it's a great game. Yeah. And he did, had some crucial buckets. He just run into the paint. They just kind of left it. They, especially in certain situations where they were trying to cover the 3. Now he just ran and they just crossover, run into the paint, dunk, run into the paint, layup. Sometimes he got an and one, right? And he just, it was kind of okay, Pascal, right? But they kind of were just giving the shit up, and then they just made a mistake by giving an and one in certain situations because they don't want to give a 3 because they were playing the free throw game at the end of the fourth, at the end of the OT. That's what they were doing, right? But missing 3 free throws down the stretch, that was atrocious because the game could have been changed. It could have been a win if he made just, even 2 instead of missing the 3. But yeah, that happens. Even Beal missed 2 free throws. It does happen. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that. But the reason why it's hard to give him the benefit of the doubt because Beal makes it. So when he misses it, it's kind of like, you give him the benefit of the doubt. Pascal, there's been plethora of times where he misses crucial free throws. And you could just look, and that's where it's like you dive into the psyche and you just dive into once it's clutch, palms are sweaty. Once it's clutch, panic. Once it's, that's always how it is. That's Pascal's story right now. That's always been. And even it was like that low key, even when Kawhi was here. You've seen versus the Bucks, crucial free throw, miss, right? Let Middleton gets the bucket, right? He's been doing this from the dawn of time. So, I kind of expected it, but, it came down to, Van Vliet's 3 who saved the Raptors, right? Van Vliet saved the Raptors with that 3, with that pump fake, one dribble, pull in the gap type of 3. And he was forced to pull in the gap, and do some type of Arsenal take because the game clock was, dwindling down. You need to get a shot off. I just don't like how Van Vliet doesn't apply this all the time. Like, there's no, like, you and Pascal are 2 different things. Like, you both frustrate me. Pascal and Van Vliet frustrate me in, in different ways, but they both frustrate me because they don't advance themselves, right? Van Vliet hasn't been advanced themselves. There's so many gaps he has at the mid-range he's not doing. There's so many gaps at the 3-point line he's not doing. Like, he just keeps trying to go into the paint, and then he has to now kick out, and you just waste opportunities. I hate squandering and wasting opportunities. Actually, it's annoying, man. It's annoying because you have to make the defense pay. So then now that the defense pays, it opens up multiple things because now they step up at the mid-range, you blow by, now you get bare layups. Now they step up, you know what I mean? Now you could blow by, now they collapse, now you get open 3s. You get more open takes if you take advantage of the opportunities. It kills. It's a way of countering what the schemes are for you, just out the gate. And that's where, I don't like how Van Vliet doesn't take advantage of that. I don't like how Pascal doesn't take advantage of that same ways. And they just frustrate me because it's about advancing your bag and advancing your arsenal. That always helps the team in the long run, right? It always creates havoc. And, and that's something that Van Vliet doesn't do. And it's just frustrating to watch because it's like you see the same results every single time. But, on 1, 2, 3 plays anomaly, I get the layup. But you're getting blocked or you're being contested or you don't even attempt the layup. How many times do you go to the paint? How many times do you actually get an attempt? How many times you have to now kick out or how many times you get blocked? You add that up in the grand scheme of 10 times you went to the paint, 2, 3 you went up, you made 1, 2 were blocked, and then 8 other times you didn't even attempt something. You pass it out because it's about to be contested. Like, stuff like that people don't pay attention to, and that's where I'm like, take advantage of the opportunity. Just pull up or a floater. Like, come on now. Like, that's where you get the potent. Even Harden doesn't do mid-range, but he does floater at mid-range ranges. So, so it's actually like you're still making them pay. So now you pick up. Now I do my same floater. It looks like a floater. It's an alley now to DeAndre or whoever. Like, stuff like that. That's how you become unguardable. You have a poison for each, pick your poison. You have a counter. You have a type of poison to go to from each type of scheme or each type of thing that they want you to do. or that they give up. You have to make them pay. And when you make them pay, other things open up. And that's where you get to the unguardable stages because you have an answer for everything. And that's part of advancing your ability and advancing your mindset, advancing everything on a whole new level where now your numbers individually you get better and team wise you get better because you make them pay, right? So, that's what I want from Van Fleet, but he struggles at doing that at a high level. But you already know Gary Trent is Gary Trent. I like how he came back and went to work, but still Van Fleet did make that 3, which pushed it to overtime, and that was a big make, right? So, but I didn't like at the last 3 in, going for overtime or going to try and make it go to a second overtime, how after Lopez made the free throw, they actually had Gary Trent inbound the ball. I didn't like that. This was the same situation, full court, where Gary Trent, well, obviously it was off a miss, but Gary Trent got the ball and round down the court and hit him with the chicken wing, the excuse me bump on Raul Neto, and then from there he got the step back 3, right? This is the same similar situation, full court, down the court, running down, trying to get a 3. I don't want the ball in Pascal's hands to do that. Like we've seen him all the time in these situations, just clap the whole backboard and it's never close. And that's exactly what he did. Exactly what he did in this situation. Like Pascal's skill set doesn't I know they're trying to politics wise get him going. Like you have to at some point stop doing the shit. Go to the right person, the right personnel. KYP, right? Go to the right personnel given the situation. And that's why I wanted, Nurse to be like, yo, Trent, no, don't inbound, or even Trent be like, I'm not inbounding. But when you're right there, it looks bad for you to be like, nope, come inbounding, fam. Because then now this defense is more set. Like you have to just inbound and hope you get it back type of situation. But again, Pascal got it and he did his heave. But I didn't want him anyways to have the ball in that situation. I wanted either Van Fleet or Trent, and then you try and get a bucket. Especially the fact that Van Fleet just hit one. You would think that one of those two are getting it. Like both of them have hit one versus the Wizards. Trent and now Van Fleet. So transition, perfect. Let's get it. Inbound. Right away, Pascal should have went to inbound, but you already know he's trying to get it and do whatever. So that's more so just politics and more so just Nurse has to body that and kind of just dictate what goes on in that situation. But, at the end of the day, they did try and they were trying to win the game. They didn't win the game, but it was winnable if Pascal didn't miss those free throws and a couple crucial, decisions down the stretch, not playing defense on Beal in transition and Westbrook in transition coming downhill, just making layups when they were up. Raptors were up like 5 or so, something like that, and could have just kept increasing the lead. But, stuff like that, just downhill. They went on droughts where they didn't score as well at times too. So there was a lot of things that kind of played factors into the loss, obviously. But the main thing, like I said, is the main thing. Like, it's going to come down to, Pascal making plays and Gary Trent and Van Vliet hitting. Even one stretch where Pascal got the rebound and kick out, and then it's like Van Vliet missed one, Trent missed one, Van Vliet missed one, and they were only down 3. So you have stretches like that. It's hard to just fight over that and get over that hump when every shot you're taking that's open is Kablunski. You know what I mean? So, obviously, this was one of those games where it just kind of just gave a realization to, what? Just tank. Just, keep resting Lowry, OG. Keep doing what you got to do. And at the end of the day, just try and get a pick. Like, this is trying to make the plane is done for. It's done for. There's no need to even just exhaust it or even try. You exhausted all options. You tried on all of that. But at this point, just, wrap it up. Wrap it up and just, throw in the towel in terms of the plane. And just, Washington got it. Washington or Chicago, and that's it. And then you try and, move forward and think ahead. And that's what the Raptors need to do. Like I said, Pascal did have a great game. But, again, I still am waiting to see more. I'm still waiting to see. There's a lot of things I'm waiting to see. But at the end of the day, it was a tough-fought game. A hard, tough, game in terms of just, going back and forth. And, Beal putting in work. Westbrook. There's something to be said about Westbrook and these triple-doubles, man. Westbrook and these stats, like, if anybody else, like I always say, if there was a LeBron, if there was anybody else that actually was getting these type of stats, that Westbrook is actually getting, they would praise him and say he's a GOAT, and they would say he needs to have better, pieces around him so he could win. If that was the case, if that was anybody else, if that was LeBron, if that was Luka, if that was, you could name it, James Harden, they would be saying this guy is the GOAT. Like this man has 180 triple doubles in his career, and is about to tie about to tie Oscar Robertson for 181. He's about to average his fourth straight. Is it not fourth straight, but his fourth triple double season? Like the stuff that this man is doing. Like, do you understand that? Like the stuff that he's doing is actually crazy, man. And what is remarkable is that you have to have energy. You have to have that type of energy to do this, especially at a point guard. Like, no matter how many rebounds you think that, they're just letting him have a rebound or not, trying to get a rebound that the big man or whoever is doing, he hustles. He tries to get offensive rebounds. He misses it, tries to go, and tries to go. And sometimes he gets it, right? He tries to, he keeps trying. And at some point, he has to be rewarded for his trying, man. Like, there has to be some type of praise. There has to be some type of, acknowledgement of what he's actually doing, because what he's doing is actually reckless, man. It's actually reckless. Now, I know we don't put a lot of stock into certain things because, we put the playoffs on a high standard, right? But at some point, you have to acknowledge that what this guy is doing. You have to, man. You have to. It's actually crazy, man. It's actually crazy. But, again, like I was saying, it depends on whether they like you or not, it's stuff like that. So, it's so much that goes into it. But at the end of the day, Westbrook, man, he's averaging a triple double again. He's really normalized and made us get accustomed to just elite stats. Like, his stats are second to none. But, again, at the end of the day, like I told you, his triple double and the things that he's been doing has made us be accustomed to a lot of those things. So, I just wish he'll get the recognition. I know when his career is actually over, people are going to be like, oh my goodness, Westbrook, are you crazy? Did you see what he was actually doing and this, that, and the third? But we never appreciate them while they're still playing. And it's unfortunate. It's tough, but, that's kind of just the end of the draw. That's kind of how the chips fall, right? But Westbrook, man, elite term, and it's not even like he's getting triple doubles with low tier, low type of rebounds. Like, it's not like it's 11 rebounds, 10 rebounds, sometimes 9 and then 12. Like, he's actually getting 17, 18, 20, them type of rebounds. Like, that's actually reckless. That's actually reckless, man. That's actually reckless, yo, bruh. That's crazy, man. I just hope that he gets the acknowledgement that he actually deserves, because that doing that triple double shit, it ain't easy, man. It ain't easy. That's why mans don't average that for a reason. Like, the tenacity, the intensity that he has to play with on each possession is actually crazy. But that's here nor there. But at the end of the day, I just had to just give my flowers to Westbrook, because mans are capping, and I promise you, if it's any of these other players, this man would have been praised and would have been plastered all over IG, or social media, period, right? Media would have been talking about him often, all that type of stuff. But, like I said, that's just how the chips fell, and that's just what it is. So, that's just what it is.